What if I told you that the wealthy elite aren't special, and they don't possess some secret advantage you can never access? What if I revealed that money, yes, actual wealth, doesn't choose who to bless and who to ignore based on your background, education, or even your work ethic? Would you believe me if I said that money simply obeys and has been obeying your commands all along? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Has this ever happened to you? You check your bank account at the end of the month, and despite all your efforts, the numbers don't match your intentions. You work hard, you budget carefully, yet somehow money seems to slip through your fingers like water. This isn't coincidence. This isn't bad luck. This is the power of your words manifesting in your financial reality. You see, every single day, you've been issuing commands without even realizing it. I can never save enough. Money is so hard to come by. The rich get richer, and I just stay stuck. These aren't just innocent complaints or observations. They're powerful directives that money has no choice but to follow. Money doesn't have feelings. It doesn't judge your worthiness. It simply responds to the authority in your voice, or more accurately, the lack thereof. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this profound truth decades ago when she wrote that our words create our world. She wasn't speaking metaphorically. She was revealing a universal law as consistent as gravity. When you drop something, gravity doesn't debate whether to pull it down. It simply acts. Money operates on the same principle of absolute obedience. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover in this video might completely transform how you speak about your finances. The wealthy aren't lucky. They're simply speaking a different language, one of authority and certainty rather than doubt and scarcity. Think about this for a moment. What if every financial struggle you've experienced wasn't because the universe was against you, but because it was faithfully delivering exactly what you ordered through your words? Your casual sighs of, "I'll never be financially free," weren't ignored. They were followed to the letter. The most terrifying part? Even when you spoke with accidental certainty about lack, money obeyed. The most liberating part? When you change your commands, reality has no choice but to shift in response. I'm about to share with you a command so powerful, so absolute, that when spoken with genuine authority, large sums of money will have no option but to move in your direction. This isn't positive thinking. This isn't wishful manifestation. This is understanding the fundamental law that governs wealth. If you felt that shift in energy as we explored this powerful command together, hit subscribe now. Each video builds on these principles, revealing deeper layers of the financial authority you've always possessed, but perhaps never fully claimed. And this revelation might be the hidden truth that transforms your entire financial journey. Money doesn't distinguish between your casual remarks and your intentional declarations. That offhanded comment about always being broke by Wednesday isn't dismissed as just a figure of speech. It's received as a binding instruction. The universe doesn't filter your words through your intentions. It responds to the certainty with which you speak them. This explains why some people seem to manifest financial abundance seemingly by accident. They've unwittingly mastered the mindset of speaking with authority about wealth, even in moments when they aren't consciously trying to manifest anything. Their everyday language contains fragments of absolute certainty about prosperity that money has no choice but to obey. Look back through history at every great fortune ever built. From the merchant princes of Venice to the tech billionaires of Silicon Valley, their wealth didn't materialize from tentative hopes or desperate prayers. Their empires were built on the foundation of voices that spoke with such unshakable conviction that reality itself had no option but to bend and reshape according to their words. When Rockefeller declared as a young boy that he would make a fortune, it wasn't a child's fantasy. It was a command issued with such clarity that the universe immediately began rearranging itself to fulfill that decree. When Oprah spoke of her vision, despite every obstacle, Her words weren't wishes. They were decisions already made in the realm where all manifestation begins. The transformation we're discussing goes beyond mere positive thinking. It's about recognizing that you've been wielding this power your entire life, unaware of its impact. Every financial decision, every unexpected bill, every surprising windfall, all of them echoes of commands you issued days, months, or even years ago through your casual speech. What's truly remarkable about this revelation is how it completely democratizes wealth. It's not education, connections, or even talent that ultimately determines financial abundance. It's the authority with which you speak about money. And authority isn't granted. It's claimed. It's not earned. It's embodied. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining what happens beneath the surface when you speak with certainty. Imagine your words as seeds planted in fertile soil. Some seeds, those spoken with doubt, fear, or hesitation, grow into sparse, struggling plants. But those same words, when uttered with absolute conviction, produce abundant harvests that continue yielding fruit season after season. The question isn't whether this power works. It's whether you're ready to wield it consciously instead of haphazardly. Are you prepared to examine the language you've been using about money and recognize how it's shaped your current financial reality? Are you willing to make the subtle but profound shift from speaking like someone who hopes for wealth to speaking like someone who commands it? If what I'm saying resonates with the experiences you've had in your own life, write in the comments, "Money obeys my voice." The power of your authoritative voice exists within the same framework as the most awe-inspiring forces of nature. Think about a gathering storm, the electric tension in the air, the darkening sky, the inevitable crash of thunder. Do you negotiate with lightning? Do you bargain with the rain? Of course not. These elements follow immutable natural laws that operate whether we acknowledge them or not. Your voice, when filled with genuine authority, creates ripples through reality with this same uncompromising force. The universe doesn't evaluate your worthiness or question your audacity when you speak with conviction. It simply responds, the way clouds must release rain when atmospheric conditions demand it. This is the hidden truth behind every financial breakthrough. It wasn't luck or timing, but the natural consequence of authoritative declaration. The greatest revelation in this journey of transformation is recognizing that money has never moved randomly in your life. What appeared as financial chaos, unexpected expenses, mysterious shortfalls, surprising windfalls, was actually perfect obedience to the commands you've been issuing through your words and even your unspoken beliefs. Most people operate from a profound misconception. They view money as capricious, fickle, favoring some, while ignoring others based on mysterious criteria they can never quite grasp. This fundamental misunderstanding keeps them trapped in a cycle of financial frustration, always chasing, never commanding. The wealthy elite understand, either consciously or intuitively, that money is not random, but responsive. It doesn't require endless pursuit, it requires clear direction. When they speak about wealth, their tone carries an unmistakable certainty that doesn't question if money will come, but simply directs when and how it will arrive. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment with universal principles. I've witnessed countless individuals experience profound awakening when they finally grasp this concept. Their entire relationship with money shifts overnight. Bills that once provoked anxiety are met with calm assurance. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly materialize, not because the external world changed, but because their internal commands shifted from doubt to certainty. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this principle perfectly when she wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. The financial boomerangs in your life, both wanted and unwanted, have been returning to you with perfect precision based on the quality of certainty in your voice." What's truly liberating about this mindset breakthrough is that it places the power firmly in your hands. You don't need special connections, advanced degrees, or even exceptional skills to transform your financial reality. You simply need to recognize the command that you've been unconsciously issuing and deliberately replace it with one that reflects your true desires. Consider how differently you might approach money conversations starting today. Instead of saying, "I hope I can afford this someday," what if you declared with quiet certainty, "This is already mine"? The shift seems subtle, but the vibrational impact is worlds apart. If you're beginning to recognize patterns in your own life where your words have directly shaped your financial reality, drop a comment saying, "I command abundance." Let me offer you a powerful visualization that will forever change how you perceive wealth creation. Imagine a vast army standing in absolute silence, thousands of soldiers perfectly still, awaiting a single command. The tension is palpable. The potential energy is immense, yet nothing happens until the commander speaks. The moment that authoritative voice cuts through the silence, the entire force moves as one, decisive, immediate, and unstoppable. This is precisely how money behaves in the universe. It's not scattered or chaotic, it's not unpredictable or elusive. It stands at perfect attention, an organized force of infinite potential, waiting for your command. The revelation that transforms financial destinies is recognizing that you are the commander of this army. Every word you speak with conviction sets this force in motion. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to continue this journey of transformation. I share these hidden principles of wealth creation that most will never discover, and each video builds upon the last to help you master the language of abundance. The tragedy is that most people never step into the role of commander. They whisper tentatively, where they should declare boldly. They question their authority where they should embody it. They hope where they should direct. And money, disciplined as any great army, simply follows the uncertain commands they give, creating financial realities that reflect this hesitation. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this principle with crystal clarity when she declared, "Your word is law." This statement isn't poetic license or metaphorical flourish. It's an expression of the fundamental architecture of reality. Your word, spoken with absolute certainty, becomes the law that reality must follow, just as gravity must pull objects earthward, just as light must travel at its perfect speed. This insight represents a radical paradigm shift in how we approach wealth. Most conventional wisdom suggests that financial abundance comes through strategic planning, careful saving, or aggressive investment. While these practical steps have their place, they're secondary to the primary catalyst, the authoritative command that sets everything in motion. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this hidden truth. Someone stepped into their authority and spoke with such unwavering certainty that money had no choice but to respond. Their words weren't wishes cast into the wind. They were commands issued from the throne of their consciousness. The journey to embodying this principle begins with awareness. Start noticing the subtle ways your current speech patterns might be issuing. Commands of limitation rather than abundance. That casual, "I could never afford that," isn't just an observation, it's a binding directive. The offhand, "money always slips through my fingers," isn't merely describing your experience, it's creating it. This awareness then evolves into conscious choice. You begin deliberately selecting words that command prosperity rather than scarcity. You speak about your financial future not as a hopeful possibility, but as an unfolding certainty. This isn't pretending or fake it till you make it. It's aligning your voice with the truth of your inherent authority. What's fascinating about this revelation is how it democratizes wealth creation. You don't need special credentials, unique talents, or privileged connections to command money effectively. You simply need to recognize and embody the authority that has been yours all along. If you've ever noticed moments when your clear declarations seem to manifest quickly in your reality, type "I am the commander" in the comments below. There's a fascinating phenomenon at play in this universe that perfectly illustrates how your voice affects financial reality. Consider a magnet near metal objects. There's no visible connection, no rope, no chain, no physical bond, yet the pull is undeniable. The metal moves toward the magnet with an immediacy that requires no negotiation or convincing. This invisible but powerful field operates according to laws that don't bend to opinion or preference. Your voice, when filled with authentic authority, creates precisely this kind of energetic field around money. The resonance of your words generates an unseen but undeniable pull that wealth cannot resist. This isn't mystical thinking. It's an alignment with universal principles that govern all forms of energy, including the energy of abundance. What's particularly revelatory about this understanding is how it explains the vast disparity in financial experiences among people who seem equally qualified, equally hardworking, equally deserving. The breakthrough comes when you realize that the struggle with money isn't because the universal law is failing or playing favorites. It's because most people have never learned to speak the language that money actually responds to. Listen carefully to how most individuals talk about their finances. Their words are saturated with subtle begging. I hope I can afford this someday. Their phrases are steeped in tentative wishing. I'd really like to be financially free. Their statements are riddled with underlying doubt. I'm trying to attract more abundance. This language creates a frequency that simply doesn't resonate with the energy of wealth. Money doesn't respond to pleading. It doesn't answer to wishful thinking. It moves only in response to clear, unwavering commands issued from a place of innate authority. The transformation begins when you recognize this fundamental mismatch between how you've been speaking and how money actually responds. Think about someone you know who seems to have a golden touch with finances. Behind their seeming luck is this hidden truth. They speak differently. Their words carry a quiet certainty that doesn't question whether money will come, only when and how. They don't hope for wealth. They expect it as naturally as you expect the sun to rise tomorrow. This understanding liberates you from the endless cycle of financial strategies that never quite deliver the promised results. The missing ingredient wasn't another investment technique or budgeting approach. It was the quality of command in your voice when you speak about money. The journey toward mastering this principle involves a profound but simple shift in your internal relationship with wealth. Instead of positioning yourself as a supplicant hoping to be chosen by money, you step fully into your role as the commander who directs its movement. This isn't arrogance. It's simply alignment with how the universe actually works. What's truly remarkable is how quickly your financial reality begins to shift once you make this adjustment. Opportunities that seemed closed suddenly appear. Resources you didn't know existed reveal themselves. Pathways to abundance that were invisible become clear. Not because the external world changed, but because your magnetic field shifted from repelling wealth to attracting it irresistibly. If you've noticed yourself using phrases like, I can't afford it, or money is tight right now, put shifting my words in the comments below. What makes this approach to financial abundance so radically different from conventional wisdom is that it bypasses the entire framework of pleading and hoping that most people unconsciously adopt. The command I'm about to share with you operates on an entirely different dimension of consciousness. It doesn't negotiate or bargain with the universe. It doesn't timidly request or meekly suggest. It declares with finality and watches as reality. Rearranges itself in response. This represents a profound paradigm shift in your relationship with wealth. Most approaches to money place you in the position of a supplicant, hoping to be chosen, waiting to be blessed, trying to prove your worthiness. But this command positions you as the authority, the one who directs rather than the one who waits. This single shift in perspective catalyzes a complete transformation in how money responds to you. The immediacy of this response is perhaps the most startling revelation. Consider what happens when you drop a heavy object. Does gravity hesitate? Does it consider whether you deserve to have the object fall? Does it evaluate your character or review your past? Of course not. the object falls instantly, without delay, without judgment, without permission. This is precisely how money responds to authoritative commands. The moment you speak with genuine authority, financial energy begins moving toward you with this same immediate certainty. There's no evaluation period, no cosmic committee deciding. Now I want to reveal something truly transformative about the command you're about to receive, something that will fundamentally alter how you perceive your own voice from this moment forward. Once you understand and speak this command, you'll never view your words casually again. A profound awareness will dawn within you, an understanding that every phrase you utter creates ripples that eventually return as the circumstances of your life. This heightened consciousness doesn't create pressure or anxiety. Instead, it brings a sense of sacred responsibility about the creative power you've possessed all along. You'll begin to notice how certain expressions feel aligned with abundance, while others carry the unmistakable frequency of lack. You'll develop an intuitive recognition of which declarations expand your financial possibilities and which constrain them. This discernment becomes second nature, not through effort, but through awakening. This transformation doesn't require you to monitor every word with exhausting vigilance. Instead, it creates a natural evolution in how you express yourself. Just as someone who discovers they have perfect pitch naturally begins to hear music differently, you'll naturally begin to speak the language of abundance rather than scarcity. The shift doesn't demand struggle. It emerges organically from your new awareness. What makes this revelation particularly powerful is the understanding that money has been listening to you with perfect fidelity all along. Every financial struggle, every unexpected expense, every persistent limitation wasn't random misfortune or cosmic punishment. It was simply money faithfully following the instructions you unknowingly issued through your words. Not because money is cruel or indifferent, but because it's perfectly obedient to your commands. This understanding completely transforms how you perceive your financial history. Those persistent patterns of never quite enough weren't evidence of personal unworthiness or financial bad luck. They were the perfect manifestation of commands you issued without recognizing their power. The bills that always seemed to arrive before the paycheck, the unexpected expenses that consistently drained your savings, the income ceiling you couldn't seem to break through. All of these were manifestations of commands you issued perhaps years ago. The liberation in this awareness is profound. If money has been perfectly obedient to your unconscious commands of limitation, it will be equally obedient to your conscious commands of abundance. The same principle that created financial struggle will create financial freedom when directed differently. The same law that manifested scarcity will manifest prosperity when aligned with what you truly desire. This revelation creates a fundamental identity shift in your relationship with wealth. You stop seeing yourself as someone hoping to be chosen by financial fortune and start recognizing yourself as the voice that fortune itself must obey. This isn't arrogance or magical thinking. It's alignment with the universal principles that govern how energy, including the energy of money, responds to authoritative declaration. If you're beginning to recognize how money has been faithfully following your commands all along, for better or worse, write "Money obeys me" in the comments. Here it is, the command that transforms everything. Money obeys my call. 5 simple words that, when spoken with absolute authority, create an immediate reconfiguration in the fabric of your financial reality. Not as a question, not as a hopeful affirmation, not as a desperate plea, but as an unshakable declaration that leaves no room for negotiation or delay. Say it now. Feel the weight of each word as it leaves your lips. Money obeys my call. Did you notice that? The subtle pressure change in the air around you? That slight shiver that traveled through your chest as you spoke the final word? That wasn't your imagination. That was the actual sensation of reality beginning to shift in response to your command, the universe itself adjusting to accommodate the new frequency you just established with your voice. This physical response is the tangible evidence of an invisible process that begins the moment you speak with genuine authority. Just as the atmosphere changes before a thunderstorm, that electric feeling that makes the hair on your arms stand up, your declaration creates an immediate energetic shift that can be physically felt. This sensation is the doorway between your old financial reality and the new one that's now unfolding. What makes this command so extraordinarily powerful is its perfect alignment with universal law. It doesn't beg for wealth or negotiate for abundance. It simply declares the truth that has always existed. Money responds to your call. Not sometimes, not eventually, always. This declaration doesn't create a new relationship with wealth. It simply acknowledges the relationship that has always been in place beneath the surface of your awareness. The awakening that comes with speaking this command creates a profound identity transformation. You're no longer the one who chases money or proves your worthiness to receive it. You're the one who calls, and money obeys. This shift isn't about gaining something new, but about recognizing something that has always been true about your relationship with wealth. When you declared, "Money obeys my call," you didn't just speak words. You claimed your rightful position as the commander of financial energy. This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's alignment with the fundamental architecture of how abundance operates. You've always been the director of wealth's movement. You simply hadn't recognized this truth until now. The revelation in this command goes far beyond typical manifestation techniques. It doesn't involve complex visualization practices or exhausting repetition. It operates through a single, decisive moment of claiming the authority that has been yours all along. Like a royal heir suddenly remembering their true identity after years of living as a commoner, this command awakens you to the financial sovereignty that has always been your birthright. If you felt that undeniable physical sensation when you spoke the command, that subtle pressure change, that gentle shiver through your body, write, "I felt the shift," in the comments. Now I want to reveal the true nature of what you've just spoken into existence. This command, "Money obeys my call," isn't merely an affirmation or positive statement. It operates through the same immutable principles that govern the most powerful forces in nature. Think about the tides responding to the moon's pull. They don't negotiate or decide whether to rise today. They simply move in perfect obedience to cosmic law. Consider the shifting of tectonic plates that create earthquakes. These massive movements don't require permission or validation. They occur as the natural expression of pressure and release, following principles that cannot be argued with or denied. The command you've just spoken operates through this same level of absolute certainty. It doesn't request or suggest. It declares what must be. This understanding elevates your relationship with wealth beyond the realm of wishful thinking or temporary motivation. You're not working with psychological tricks or self-deception. You're aligning with the fundamental architecture of how reality operates. Just as iron has no choice but to respond to a magnetic field, money has no choice but to respond to the authority in your voice when you declare, "Money obeys my call." Let's speak it again, but this time with the awareness of what's actually happening. Money obeys my call. Did you notice how different that felt? The first time, it may have seemed like trying on a new outfit. Interesting, but not quite yours yet. But this second declaration carried a different weight. It felt more authentic, more natural, more aligned with your true identity. This shift represents a profound transformation in your relationship with these words. The command is no longer something external that you're testing or experimenting with. It's becoming integrated into your self-concept, moving from something you say to something you are. This transition from external practice to internal identity is where the true power of transformation lies. You're not repeatedly convincing yourself of something foreign. You're simply recognizing and embodying what has always been true. This revelation illuminates why most attempts at financial manifestation fall short. They remain external practices, affirmations repeated without genuine embodiment, visualizations observed without true identification. But this command operates differently. With each repetition, it sinks deeper into your consciousness, becoming less like a technique you're using and more like a truth you're remembering. The awakening that comes with this understanding often creates a decisive breakthrough in people's financial journey. They suddenly recognize that they've been approaching abundance from the wrong direction, trying to convince themselves of something rather than simply acknowledging what has always been true. The struggle wasn't in creating a new relationship with money, but in remembering the relationship that has always existed beneath the surface of awareness. If you noticed how the second repetition of the command felt different, more natural, more like it, truly belongs to you, write, "It's becoming mine," in the comments. Now I want to guide you through what might be the most transformative revelation of all, the understanding that this command isn't something you do, it's something you become. Money obeys my call isn't a technique to practice occasionally or a tool to deploy when financial pressure mounts. It's a fundamental shift in your core identity, as profound as the difference between someone who occasionally plays music and a musician, between someone who sometimes paints and an artist. This distinction represents the quantum leap in your financial evolution. Most approaches to abundance remain at the level of doing, repeating affirmations, visualizing outcomes, practicing gratitude. But this command operates at the level of being. You don't repeatedly convince yourself that money obeys your call. You simply recognize yourself as the one whom money obeys. This identity shift catalyzes transformation at a level that temporary techniques simply cannot access. Think about how you breathe. You don't remind yourself to inhale and exhale. You don't practice breathing as a daily discipline. Breathing is simply who you are, an automatic expression of your existence. This command is designed to operate with this same level of naturalness. It's not something you force or maintain through constant vigilance. It's something that becomes as integral to your identity as your name, as natural as your breathing. The revelation in this understanding often creates a decisive breakthrough in people's journey toward abundance. They suddenly recognize why previous manifestation attempts created only temporary results. Those approaches remained external practices rather than internal truths. But when money obeys my call transitions from something you say to something you are, the entire foundation of your financial reality undergoes a permanent reconfiguration. With this awakening comes the crucial next step in your transformation journey, living as though the command is already manifest. This isn't pretending or fabricating. It's aligning your daily existence with the truth you've declared. When a bill arrives, you don't panic or doubt. You respond with the quiet certainty of someone who knows that money obeys their call. When an opportunity appears, you don't hesitate or question your worthiness. You move forward with the natural confidence of someone who knows that financial energy responds to their voice. This alignment between declaration and embodiment creates the bridge that transforms potential into tangible reality. Most people miss this crucial step. They speak powerful words, but continue living from the same identity that created their financial limitations. But those who master this principle recognize that living from the new identity is what brings the declaration fully into three-dimensional existence. The journey toward this embodiment doesn't require forcing or pretending. It emerges naturally from genuine recognition. Just as you don't need to convince yourself of your name or remind yourself to breathe, you don't need to continuously persuade yourself that money obeys your call. You simply allow this truth to permeate every aspect of your being until it becomes as natural as your heartbeat. If you're beginning to sense this shift from technique to identity happening within you, write, "I am becoming the command" in the comments. Now I want to guide you toward an insight that might completely revolutionize how you engage with this command. Think about gravity for a moment. When you wake up each morning, do you drop a cup to test whether gravity is still working? Do you throw a pillow in the air to verify that it will fall back down? Of course not. You simply trust that gravity is operating consistently without needing constant verification or proof. This same unwavering trust is essential to embodying the command, money obeys my call. Most people sabotage their financial breakthroughs by constantly testing whether the principle is working. They declare the command on Monday, then check their bank account on Tuesday to see if anything has changed. When immediate evidence doesn't appear, doubt creeps in, effectively canceling the command they just issued. This cycle of declaration and doubt creates a perpetual state of financial limbo. Too much faith to completely surrender to limitation, but too much skepticism to fully embrace abundance. The breakthrough comes when you stop needing immediate validation and simply trust the command with the same certainty you have about gravity. You don't question it. You don't test it. You simply know it's working, whether visible evidence has manifested yet or not. This trust isn't blind faith or wishful thinking. It's alignment with universal principles that operate with perfect consistency whether you believe in them or not. Just as gravity doesn't require your faith to function, the law that money obeys your call operates independently of your momentary doubts or verification attempts. Your trust doesn't create the law. It simply allows you to align with what's already true. What's particularly transformative about this command is how it completely reconfigures your responses to financial situations. Consider what happens when a large, unexpected bill arrives. The old self immediately panics, wondering, how will I ever pay this? But the new self, the self that knows money, obeys your call, responds with calm authority, not with denial or fantasy, but with the quiet certainty that solutions will appear because you've commanded them to. When you see something you desire but don't currently have the funds for, the old self sighs, maybe someday. But the new self declares, this is already mine, not as a hope, but as a decision already made. This shift in response creates a genuine collapse in the perceived gap between desire and manifestation. The very act of responding from certainty rather than doubt accelerates the manifestation process. This transformation in response pattern goes far beyond positive thinking. It's a fundamental identity shift that alters the energetic foundation of your relationship with money. You're no longer reacting to external financial circumstances. You're responding from an internal certainty that those circumstances must align with your command. This shift doesn't deny current reality. It simply refuses to be defined by it or limited to it. If you're noticing that your automatic responses to financial situations are beginning to shift from panic to certainty, from worry to calm authority, write, "My responses are transforming," in the comments. Now I want to go even deeper into the profound wisdom that Florence Scovel Shinn captured in one of her most transformative teachings. She called it assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, a principle that completely revolutionizes how manifestation actually works. This isn't about hoping something will happen or working hard to make it occur. It's about living from the emotional reality that what you desire is already accomplished, already present, already yours. When you declare, "Money obeys my call," you don't then wait anxiously to see if it's true. You don't position yourself as a scientist testing a hypothesis that might prove false. You assume the command as already law, as permanently established as gravity or the movement of planets. This assumption isn't pretending or fantasizing. It's aligning your consciousness with a truth that exists beyond current appearances. This mindset revolution represents the decisive breakthrough in your journey toward financial mastery. Most people miss this crucial step. They speak powerful words, but continue living from the emotional reality of lack and limitation. Their words say abundance, but their feelings remain anchored in scarcity. This misalignment creates a state of perpetual financial limbo. Too much faith to completely surrender to limitation, but too much doubt to fully embody abundance. The hidden catalyst behind every genuine financial transformation is this invisible shift in assumed reality. Someone stopped waiting to see if wealth would appear and simply started living from the quiet certainty that it already had. Their apparent manifestation wasn't creating something new. It was aligning with what already existed in the field of infinite possibility. What's particularly fascinating about this principle is the paradoxical truth that the less you check for results, the faster they appear. Think about planting a seed in the garden. If you dig it up every day to see if it's sprouting, you actually interrupt the very growth process you're trying to monitor. The seed needs darkness, pressure, and privacy to transform. Your constant checking doesn't accelerate growth, it prevents it. This same principle applies to the command, "Money obeys my call." The transformation process requires a period of unseen development before visible results appear. Your constant checking, looking for immediate evidence in your bank account, questioning whether the command is working, needing validation that the principle is true, actually interrupts the very manifestation you're trying to accelerate. The awakening that comes with this understanding creates a profound liberation in your relationship with wealth. You're freed from the exhausting cycle of declaration and doubt, freed from the need for constant verification, freed from the pressure to make it happen through force of will. You simply plant the seed of your command in fertile soil, water it with certainty, and then allow the natural process of manifestation to unfold in divine timing. If you're recognizing the wisdom in allowing your financial manifestations to develop without constantly digging them up to check their progress, write "divine timing at work" in the comments. As we come to this moment together, I want you to recognize something profound. The command you've received today, "Money obeys my call," isn't just information to be learned. It's a transformation to be lived. You've stepped into a new identity, one where your voice carries the authority to reshape your financial reality with every word you speak. If this message found its way to you today, it wasn't by accident. The very fact that you remained present throughout this entire journey suggests you were ready for this awakening. The universe doesn't deliver messages like these to those who aren't prepared to receive them. Your presence here was by divine appointment, not random chance. I'd love to continue this journey of financial transformation with you. When you subscribe to this channel, you're not just clicking a button, you're declaring your commitment to mastering the language of abundance that few ever discover. Each video builds upon this foundation, revealing new dimensions of the authority you've always possessed. If this message resonated in your bones, if you felt that subtle shift in your consciousness as we spoke these words together, leave a comment saying, "I command abundance," so I know who's truly walking this path of awakening. That like button is more than just a digital gesture. It's a declaration that this message carries truth and value worth sharing with others who might be ready for the same transformation you're experiencing right now. There's a video right here that takes this principle even deeper, revealing how to apply this command to specific financial situations in your life.